Hey, it's me, MLB. Here is Chance Ball Chapter 4, and this one is titled Be Mine. Later that evening, you walked up to his door and pushed the doorbell. Hey, sexy, he said as he opened the door and leaned against the frame. Shut it, asswipe. I'm here for the show, not you, he said with a growl, giving him a cold stare. Whoa, extra feisty tonight. I like it, he replied, giving you a wink. You grunted and pushed past him, storming into the lounge and plopping down on the couch. He joined you shortly, sitting down beside you and passing you a drink that had been sitting on the coffee table. It was your favourite drink. Thanks, you grunted. The doorbell rang and he jumped up to get it. Strippers here, he yelled. You snorted, soft drink spilling out of your mouth. He cackled as he made his way to the front door. Arsehole, you grumbled, wiping soft drink off your face. He came back just as the show started and put the pizzas down, opening the box and offering you a slice. As the show sucked you in, you began to relax a little, tucking your right leg up under your left thigh and leaning back slightly. Dabi watched you from the corner of his eye. Presently he stretched his arm out across the lounge chair behind you, deliberately brushing his fingers along the back of your neck as his arms settled across your shoulders. You stiffened. You know, you're really pretty, Yin, Dabi said, leaning towards you. Get lost, you useless player! Stop messing with me! I can't take it anymore! You barked, jumping up and crossing your arms across your chest, glaring at him while tears formed in the corner of your eyes. Whoa, where did this come from? Dabi asked with a shocked look on his face. I saw you chatting that girl up after the game. Don't act like your poo doesn't stink, you growled, your voice threatening to break under the emotional weight. And why does that bother you? Dabi asked, relaxing back and looking at you with a coy triumph look on his face. It doesn't, you stammered, glancing away. Oh, I think it does, he said with a sly grin, leaning forwards and resting his elbows on his knees, looking at you intently. Tell me, Ian, why does me chatting someone else up bother you? He waited with bated breath. Your heart started thumping wildly as you realised that you were being cornered. Because You swallowed hard. Yes, he coaxed. Because I feel sorry for anyone you hit on, that's why, you replied, changing your sentence at the last minute. That's not what you were going to say, was it? Dabi said as he stood up. For your information, I wasn't chatting her up. She came up to me. He crossed his arm across his chest. Yes, she was being flirtatious, but I turned her down. You what? He said with gentle surprise, trying to secretly wipe a tear away. I turned her down, he repeated. Once upon a time, I would have gladly flirted with her, maybe even taken her out, kissed her, whatever, he said candidly, but I'm not interested anymore. Why aren't you interested anymore? You queried. Because I've caught feelings for one girl in particular, and I don't want anyone else but her, Dabi said, looking down at the floor. You uncrossed your arms. Who is she? You asked, wanting to make sure that you were on the same page as him before you confessed. She's amazing, he stated. She's the only one who gets me. She's smart, talented. She's also a sarcastic little, but I love it. He looked at you and grinned before continuing. All I need to do is find out if she likes me back, he said, lowering his head and locking his turquoise eyes on you. You inhaled sharply. Well, yeah, I actually like someone too. I didn't like him at first. He was a prick. His ego was bigger than his dick. Impossible, but continue, Dabi interjected. But I've caught feelings, and I don't know what to do about them, you said vulnerably, clutching your arm and averting your eyes from his. He took a step towards you. Yin, he asked. You looked up at him. Would you be my girl? He asked sincerely. You stared him down for a few minutes before replying. I'd love nothing more than to be your girl, you said finally, trying to sound as annoyed as possible. He grabbed you into a hug and kissed you roughly. You returned to the kiss, getting messy real quick as he hoisted you up and then placed you down on the couch, dropping himself on top of you and grinding into you. You let out a surprised squeak and punched him in the arm. Dabi, was that your... He hummed, a coy smile playing on his face. Oh, that? Yeah, just wanted to show you how big I am so that you know how good it's going to feel when I'm going to stop you right there, you screeched, pushing him off. He laughed. No, but seriously, Ian, I've liked you for a while now. I do actually care about you. And I promise I'll look after you. I'll give you the love and attention you deserve, he added, leaning back down and kissing you gently on the lips. Can't say that I'll do the same for you, though, you replied teasingly. Oh, is that so? He asked cheekily. Oh, maybe I'll just have to have my way with you and let you go, he replied bluntly as he leaned in and bit you provocatively on the neck, grinding into you again. You're such an ass, Dabi, you giggled. I'm your ass now, though, he grinned. Now and forever. You never did get to watch the rest of your show because Dabi kept interrupting, trying to kiss you or get your attention in some way or other. You were still slightly mad at him, so rejected most of his advances, but he was enjoying the play. Oh, no fair. He pouted as he pushed his face away from you for the third time in a row. Treat him mean, keep him keen, you said with a carefree shrug. Yeah, well, I'm definitely keen, he said with a provocative little groan as he nibbled on your ear. His soft yet firm lips to your ear ignited you, and you turned your head slightly to look at him from the corner of your eye. He smirked against your ear and blew out some air gently. You like that? He whispered deviously. You couldn't speak. He placed his hand on your chin and turned your head firmly away, leaving a trail of hickeys down your neck. Dabi, you whimpered as he released your chin and ran his hand tantalizingly slowly down between your breasts and over your stomach, heading for the rim of your jeans. His experience with women showed, and he knew exactly what to do to turn your body to putty at his touch. He hummed against your collarbone, his hand sliding over the buttons of your jeans and down between your legs. You let out a small moan as he pushed his fingers between your thighs. Oh, how does he know exactly where to press, even though it's over my clothes, you thought. Suddenly he released all pressure and sat back with a satisfied sigh. You breathed out in confusion, slightly stunned at his sudden retreat, his touch leaving you hot and heavy. He looked you over innocently. I thought treat him mean, keep him keen was your thing, he said with a roguish smile. I hate you, you retorted with a scowl. He laughed heartily at your response. The next day at school, Dabi was at it again. Oi, Saxy! Dabi hollered down the hall, hands cupped over his mouth. You ducked behind someone and pretended you didn't know him. Yin! He screamed. Ugh, now everyone knows it's me, you thought with a grimace. Yin! The frickin' sexy libero! My girlfriend! Soon-to-be wife! He hollered again. Oh my god, Dabi, seriously! You shouted back at him, stepping out from behind the poor perplexed person that you had used as a hiding block. Ah, there she is! Dabi yelled again, his voice penetrating every corner of the hall. He had the biggest, stupidest grin on his face, and you wanted nothing more than to wipe that smug look off his face. How are you, baby? He asked brightly as you approached him. I would be a lot better if you weren't so frickin' embarrassing, you hissed, rolling your eyes with irritation. Oh, you love it, he said, grabbing you and pulling you into him, his hands grabbing your hips firmly. You opened your mouth to say something, but his lips met yours before any words could come out, tonguing you passionately as he hoisted you up and turned you against his locker, holding you up against the metal doors with his body weight. You gave a surprised, muffled squeak initially, but his alluring confidence and commanding hands melted you quickly, and before long you were ardently returning his kiss. Well, time for class, he said, suddenly pulling you off and plopping you back down on the ground. Bye, libero. For the second time in the last 24 hours, you were speechless. That's it. He cannot do that to me again. I'm going to teach him a lesson, you thought, scowling as you watched his retreating form. After school you had volleyball practice. He didn't, so he decided to come and watch you, much to your chagrin. Trying to make the most of an annoying situation, you decided your luck at trying to get revenge on him for his shameless sexual acts that left you wanting more. Thankfully it was a hot afternoon and the gym was sweltering. You found yourself and pulled your gym uniform top up, taking a hair tie from your wrist and tying a handful of the top up behind your back, showing off your midriff. You side-glanced up into the stands behind you, to where Dabi was watching, and to your delight, you saw he had taken the bait, more like eye candy, because he'd gone from sitting back casually to leaning forwards, his eyes trained on your body. With a hidden smirk, you crouched down again to your start position, arse out a little more than usual, and waited for the starting sound. Although you were paying attention to the game, you swore you almost heard him give small groans of satisfaction from the stands, and your hidden smirk turned into a grin. For the rest of the game, you focused on trying to be as provocative as possible, making sure he got some good profiles of your figure. His eyes never left you, and you were very pleased with the outcome of this game that you were playing with him. The volleyball game ended, and you followed the rest of the girls to the change room, trying not to look up into the stands. He met you in the doorway once you'd gotten back in your school uniform, an interesting expression playing on his face. Hey, he growled, grabbing your arm when you pretended you were going to walk straight past him. What were you trying to do in there? He asked, his voice low, almost carnal. You hummed innocently. Oh, you mean my shirt? You asked, batting your eyelashes. I was hot. What of it? His eyes were alight with desire. You can't do that to me and not give me a taste, he growled again, leaning in to kiss you. You put one hand over his mouth and boldly grabbed a handful of his crotch with the other, noticing there was an extremely large, hard bulge in the centre of your palm. It's not nice to tease now, is it? You growled playfully, tilting your head to the side. he groaned into the hand that was over his mouth. "Come to my place tonight," he mumbled into your palm. "Oh, maybe some other time, babe," he sighed. "I'm tired," you lied, and with that you turned and walked casually off for your home. Dabi watched you walk off a little before jogging up beside you. "You know, one of these days I'm going to take you in the equipment shed," he quipped provocatively. "I'll have you calling my name till you're hoarse. Oh, and you'll be walking side to side too, because, as you have probably felt, I have the girth of horse." You quickly slipped your bag off your shoulder and threw it at him. "Don't say stuff like that," you squealed in embarrassment. "Oh, now you're embarrassed? Yeah, back there you could grab a handful of my dick, no problem," he gestured sarcastically, making you laugh. "You're an asshole, you know that, right?" you gestured. "I know, and you love it," he replied, thoroughly pleased with himself. You rolled your eyes and let him place his arm around your shoulder. He was fun, even if he was an ass. And there ends Chapter 4. Stay tuned for Chapter 5 coming tomorrow.